The holiday season is over, but even in frosty January, there's still plenty to see and do here in Portsmouth. From special events in Old Town to programs sponsored by nonprofit organizations. We'll tell you about a few of them right here and right now on this episode of Portsmouth Now. Happy New Year and welcome to this January 2026 episode of Portsmouth Now. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. Historic Old Town Portsmouth is home to some fantastic museums, from the Children's Museum of Virginia to the Portsmouth Shipyard Museum to museums that are housed in historic sites such as the Hill House Museum, the Lightship Portsmouth Museum, and the Jewish Art and Cultural Center on Effingham Street. Now, all of these museums are open throughout the year and they sponsor programs throughout the year. Our first guest today is Rick Rivens from the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center to tell us about a series of films that they'll be showing throughout January. Rick, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thanks, Rob.
Now, you're here to tell us what's going on at the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center, but first off, we really need to talk about what a unique museum and cultural center this is. This is in a historic building. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, this building was not built as a museum. It was built as an Orthodox synagogue over 100 years ago. But now, since there are no more Jews in Portsmouth, we have turned it into a cultural center and a museum. So,
wow. And the architecture is very unique, I understand.
It's what the immigrants remembered of their old synagogues in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And that's the way they built it.
All right. It's a beautiful building. It's been restored inside and it's open for, I know you do tours.
Yes, by appointment.
By appointment. But you also sponsor, I guess this is where the cultural center aspect comes in. You also sponsor a series of events throughout the year, different series.
We do.
And you want to tell us about some of those generally?
Sure. We're here to talk about our cinema series
right, which
today.
is coming up in January. But you also have a concert series, I think,
We
sometime?
have Wonderful Wednesdays in July and August in the summer, and we have a lecture series, and then we have some smaller events for Jewish holidays throughout the year.
But here it is, January. People are probably wondering, post-holiday slump, what do? It's cold, it's miserable outside, and the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center is offering something for Saturday nights.
We have an answer for people who need places to go in January, and it's free.
Okay.
We have a cinema series on each Saturday in January at 7 p.m. So, some start at 7:30, some start at 7, but our doors open at 6:30.
Okay.
So I'm here to give you a preview of 5 different films that we're going to be showing.
Fantastic. So tell us about them.
On January 3rd, which is the first Saturday of the month, we are featuring Woman in Gold, which is about an 80-year-old Jewish refugee who takes on the Austrian government to recover a world-famous painting of her aunt plundered by the Nazis during World War II. She thinks it belongs to her family. It stars Helen Mirren, Ryan Reynolds, and it's rated PG-13.
And that came out just a few years ago with very good reviews.
2015.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. On January 10th, we are featuring Defiance, which was made in 2008. And that is an action drama based on a true story of 4 brothers who fight back against Nazi soldiers and create a hidden community in the woods of Belarus to protect more than 1,000 Jewish refugees during World War II. That stars Daniel Craig, Liv Schreiber, Jamie Bell, and Alexa Davalos. So, that's a different style than the first
movie. Whole different genre, yeah.
Yes. On January 17th, we have The Band's Visit, and that was made in 2007, and it's about a band comprised of members of the Egyptian police force who go to Israel to play at the inaugural ceremony of an Arab arts center. But they get lost in the wrong town. And that stars Sasson Gabay, Ronit Elabetz, and Saleh Bakri. On January 24th, we start a little earlier because it's a longer movie from 1966 called Cast a Giant Shadow. That's following the UN decision to split British Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. A former US Army officer is recruited by the Jews to reorganize the Haganah, which is the precursor of the IDF in Israel today. Okay. It's based on the real-life experiences of a Jewish American military officer, Colonel David Mickey Marcus. It stars Kirk Douglas, Senta Berger, Yul Brynner, Frank Sinatra, and Angie Dickinson.
Wow.
Finally, for the last Saturday, January 31st, we have a very famous film from 1963 called 8½. It's in Italian. It was co-written and directed by Federico Fellini, and many people will recognize that name.
Yep.
That centers on an Italian film director who suffers from writer's block as he attempts to direct an epic science fiction film. It won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film and Best Costume Designer. It stars Marcello Mastroianni, Anouk Aimée, Claudia Cardinale, and it will be presented as a tribute to Tim Cooper. Now, many people may remember Tim Cooper, who owned the Narrow video store in Norfolk.
Yeah.
He died a few years ago, and we are paying tribute to him with this film, which I'm sure he rented out a lot.
Yes.
So we're proud that the Portsmouth Museum and Fine Arts Center Commission has given us support for this film series this year. So that's good.
And yes, well, yeah, it's a diverse selection of films. It really is. Foreign films to action films to more history-based things, dramas, but sounds like something to do. I mean, and you know,
and it's a learning experience.
Yeah. Well, is there a discussion about the films afterwards at all?
Yes. After the film, we have two erudite, knowledgeable film experts who will point out some of the high points and get people more involved.
Okay. So that sounds like a great. I mean, come down here to Old Town, grab something to eat, then head over to the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center for a great film and then a great discussion afterwards.
That's right.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks so much for coming here to tell us about this. Now, if people want to find out more about this, is there a website that they can go to?
They can go to our website, which is jewishmuseumportsmouth.org, and all the films will be posted there because I'm sure they need to review them by the week they want to come.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. And this January, please check out the Jewish Museum and Cultural Center's Cinema Series on Saturday nights. Even in the dead of winter, there are those people with green thumbs who are already planning what they're going to plant in their flower beds and vegetable gardens. Now, if you're one of these people, you're going to want to hear what our next guest has to say. Sarah Cunningham from the Portsmouth Master Gardeners. Sarah, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay. January, freezing, Christmas is just over. Who in the world thinks about gardening?
Well, master gardeners are always thinking about gardening, no matter what the weather. So over the winter, we do have library lectures at the Churchland Library. In January, on the 21st, we have a lecture on marvelous mushrooms. That's something that you can grow at home legally.
Yeah, okay.
And we have an expert in mushrooms. Oh, he's a really fun guy.
Okay.
And he's going to talk to us about the importance of mushrooms in the environment, as well as like some ways to grow them at home. So many mushrooms are excellent in terms of flavor, but not in terms of shelf life. So grocery stores don't carry them.
Yeah.
So you can really experiment legally and find some mushrooms that work for your family.
Okay, do people grow mushrooms?
You
Is that
can. You
common?
can grow them in the garage during the winter, or even in a fridge or a freezer, depending on where it is in your house, or if you have room after all of your leftovers are eaten.
Well, again, that's a great option then.
Yeah. So then in February on the 18th, we have another lecture, and that is on winter pruning. So bundle up and get out there and prune your trees. There are a number of trees and shrubs that really benefit from winter pruning. It stimulates them to get growing, and it's also a safe time because there aren't as many insects or funguses, bacteria that are out in the environment due to the cold weather. And you can, give your garden a boost and your trees that little trim that they need in a safe environment.
Is winter the best time to trim, or are there other times
it
of the year
really
too?
depends on each species. So we'll give you at that lecture a list of the different things when the optimal time is. Sometimes for blooming shrubs, for example, you want to prune right after the blooming period has happened. So like for azaleas, it would not be the right time. You want to wait until after those azaleas have bloomed and then cut them back. But we'll give you a full calendar, but winter's a great time. While I'm at it, if you do want to bundle up and get out there, if you see vines climbing up your trees, put on that coat, get out your clippers. Vines are really, really destructive to trees. They add a lot of weight. They compete for the sunlight, for the the chlorophyll production in the leaves. So if you have time and you want to get out in your garden, pick a sunny day out in the sun, get those vines clipped down.
Knowing nothing about gardening, would it be easier to pull up vines this time of year?
I don't want to be responsible for any back injuries. If you can find like the stem of that vine, just clipping it and keeping that the nutrients from coming back down to the roots, that's a great first step. And then the vine will wither over time and it'll be easier to tug down.
Okay.
I mean, if you're feeling really ambitious, get out a shovel and find that root system.
Yeah.
But for things that are invasive, like English ivy, it's like a carpet of roots below the surface. So just making that disconnect will weaken the vine itself up in the tree, and then it will also kind of work against the root system and it's thriving. So you'll have an easier time if you just kind of give yourself a little bit of a break in between those
You mentioned
processes.
English ivy. I know a lot of people will use that for ground covering in flower beds. Is that a good thing or
It's
bad
really
thing?
a bad thing. And you'll notice it if you go through like our area parks. It's not a native species. It's English ivy for a reason.
Okay.
And we can get into native plants forever. But essentially, we want to choose to grow things that are native to North America or even better to Virginia. And that means that whatever fruit is born of those shrubs or trees, it's perfect for the animals, the pollinators, the birds that live in our region.
Okay.
English ivy, it just thrives so well. It takes over. And you'll see that again in our parks, like climbing on the trees. And the more English ivy gets into the trees, that you just won't believe the amount of weight it adds to those limbs, and it can really compromise your tree.
These vines that are growing on trees, a lot of people think, well, that's sort of cool looking. It's pretty, it's natural. But is it eventually deadly to trees?
It can be. I mean, and it can be deadly to more. I mean, when a limb comes down, watch out because these tree limbs are very, very strong, but it can kill an entire tree ultimately, and that's just too bad. I went to an Ivy League school, so I always think that ivy's great, but it can ruin the facade of your building, and it's really detrimental to just native species within, it's out competing our native species in Virginia.
So a great then afternoon
Yeah,
winter.
another project.
Everybody's going out there and just clipping and
exactly.
all the vines.
Just cut them back. If it's not something you planted, and if you want to like learn more about native plants, there's a lot of resources, both with the Master Gardeners and online through the Virginia Tech Extension Office that will inform you about why it's so important and what you should choose instead. Like Virginia Creeper, it looks beautiful, it climbs, it's not as heavy on the trees, and it's native to our environment, obviously.
Okay. So that would be better than ivy.
It would be. So, I mean, and it's still available. Ivy is still in stores.
Yeah.
You can buy it, but if you're going to use it, keep it in a pot and throw it in the garbage at the end of the season. Don't put it in your compost pile or out in your actual beds.
Okay. All right.
So that's winter pruning.
All
I
right.
could go on all day. But when March rolls around, like the clouds part, winter is almost over. And that's our library lecture at the Churchland branch is on seed starting. And that you can get a head start on your vegetable garden, your flower garden, starting in March. And we go through A to Z on how to start seeds indoors to put in your garden. Around the end of April is when we really want to get things in the ground outside. That's past the first frost date. But there are plenty of vegetables that actually can weather the winter. Cilantro, kale, bok choy, Swiss chard, all of those vegetables are actually cold tolerant. So you'll see them, you could get them in as early as March and they'll do well. Snow peas are snow peas for a reason. They don't mind the snow, and also snap peas. So peas are a great little winter treat too.
Okay, fantastic.
So that's what we have going on.
Well, that's great. Now, people want to find out more about it. We're going to have you back throughout the year because you do things all year round.
We do. I'll garden day and night if I could.
Well, I know it's for some people.
The Master Gardeners.
For me, it's yard work.
Enthusiastic
For some people, it's a love.
It's a lot of, well, there's a serenity to being out in the soil.
Yeah.
And, some nice peace and quiet usually, and maybe a couple challenges here and there.
Okay.
If, for example, you find a part of your yard that is, really not doing well, like things tend to die, or you can call us or go online or to our Facebook page and message us. Our helpline is always available to ask, to answer questions.
What is the helpline? Do you know the number?
It is called, the email address is pmgv.org.
Okay.
And that stands for Portsmouth Master Gardeners, Virginia.
Okay.
And that is something we check. We don't check it as often in the winter, but we have volunteers that check it weekly, and they'll research your problem and get back to you.
Well, that's right.
One other thing I'll mention is that if you're at the Churchland Library this winter, you can pick up a soil testing kit.
Okay.
And you can actually send a little bit of your soil. There's instructions, it's a little box. You can send your soil to Virginia Tech and they'll test it for you so that when spring rolls around, you can fertilize or amend the soil with some expert guidance.
Fantastic.
It's a small fee, and then mailing a little postage.
But then you know what
you're up against, and you know how you can prime the soil for optimal results.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming here. Who knew that you could plan ahead like this in the winter?
Last through the winter, get a little gardening jump.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Sarah.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Portsmouth Now after this message. Portsmouth Humane Society is the oldest humane society in the Commonwealth, providing love, security, and safety to animals for over 135 years. Dogs and cats like Lady and Pepe have found a safe haven here as they wait for their forever homes. With your support, we can continue offering care, shelter, and hope to countless animals in need. It's never too late to start helping. Here's how you can make a difference. Adopt or foster. Open your home to a loving companion. Volunteer. Even an hour a week can change lives. Donate. Every gift, big or small, provides food, shelter, and medical care. Together we can ensure that every animal receives the love and care that they deserve. Visit portsmouthhumanesociety.org today to learn how you can make an impact. Let's build a future where every pet has a place to call home. Welcome back to our January 2026 episode of Portsmouth Now. Our next guest is Diana Uchek, who will tell us what's happening at the Portsmouth Humane Society and how you can get involved and make a difference. Diana, welcome back to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you so much.
So, New Year's starting. What's happening at the Portsmouth Humane Society?
Well, we're excited to start a new year and, bring the new year in with tiny friends and hopefully make some new friends.
And who are these tiny friends?
This is Squeakers and this is Ranch. And they're two adoptable kittens from the shelter. Mm-hmm. And, we don't normally have kittens in the winter months.
Okay.
Yeah, usually they've all been born and grown up and moved on.
Uh-huh.
But we're lucky enough to have quite a few kittens available for adoption right now.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a special treat for people, I think.
Gosh. Well, now, if people wanted to get involved with the shelter somehow, maybe the time they want to volunteer or just help out, are there things that they can do?
Yes, so these two, Ranch and Squeakers, are a really good example of one way people can get involved. Mm-hmm. Often when we meet these kittens, they come in and they're not old enough to be adopted. These two are about 3 months old now. Uh-huh. But if they're not able to eat on their own or if they're not quite 8 weeks old, we need foster homes for them.
Okay.
And that's a really exciting opportunity for people who maybe can't own another animal or have a little bit of extra time in their lives and want to give back to the shelter without adopting.
Okay.
I love to foster. I have 2 dogs at home, but adding another dog or cat isn't in the cards for us, but we love to foster kittens or mostly we do medical. But these guys would go into a home and, people tell us, well, I have dogs at home or I have kids at home, but that's perfect because we want our kittens to be in a home where they can experience new things and get socialized with children and other animals before they go up for adoption and find their own families.
Now, okay, as far as fostering a pet, is that for, can you do it, is there a certain time period to do that for? Is it a number of months, number of weeks, number of days?
So we have fosters for all sorts of circumstances. One of them is just if you're not sure if an animal fits into your household, we let people foster just to try them out, see how they fit.
Okay.
We'll have them do that for about 2 weeks. Kittens, we have people foster them for, it depends on how old they are when we get them. Up to 8 weeks is typically the length of time for kittens. Some fosters choose to foster their mostly dogs until they find a home. Kittens are kind of better in the shelter, so when they're done fostering and they're old enough, they pop right back. We try to make fostering fit anybody. So if we have a field trip program where you can come check out a dog for the day and go on an adventure, and that's kind of like a mini foster.
A doggy date.
Weekends, some people will do weekends too. So we really have foster opportunities to fit any kind of family or lifestyle.
That's fantastic. I'm sure a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, I think people are surprised with how accommodating and flexible our programs can be because we want to give people the opportunity to help us.
Yes. Now, how long has the Portsmouth Humane Society been around?
We are rumored to be the oldest humane society in the state. I've never confirmed that, but we were established in the late 1800s, and we first started off as an organization that served children and animals.
Okay.
So that original charter was established way back then, and then the organization has continued to grow, and our official charter or official nonprofit status dates back to the 50s or 60s, I think. And the organization has served the city of Portsmouth the entire time.
And what people need to know, we've said every time we've had you on here, people assume the Portsmouth Humane Society is like a department of the city. like the fire department or the police. It is not. This is a separate organization that gets some funding from the city, but is mostly dependent upon charitable donations and people donating their time and things.
Yes, so in the state of Virginia, each local municipality is required to have an animal shelter somewhere safe for the animals to go.
Yeah.
And in Portsmouth, we have a really unique model where the nonprofit organization, that's us, serves as the safe haven for animals. So we do have a contract with the city. So anything that animal control picks up, or Portsmouth Police, we see them quite a bit, they bring them to us and then we take over their care.
Okay.
And that is a pretty unique model. I think there's only 12 in the state of Virginia. The reason why that is so valuable is because as a nonprofit, we have a little bit more flexibility with our programming. And it allows us to do a little bit more for animals that maybe other municipalities aren't set up to do.
Right.
You know, it's really important that a city is responsible with the money that they're spending, and some municipalities maybe don't have the resources or funding to provide care for kittens.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they're not able to buy the formula, it's very expensive, or build a foster program. The way that it shows up for us is we are able to provide pretty advanced treatments for surgeries. We had some pretty complicated leg surgeries this year. We had a couple of cats visit the ophthalmologist this year. And so that's something where the municipality, maybe if they were operating independently, maybe they wouldn't feel comfortable with, or maybe they would need other funding to pay for those advanced surgeries, whereas we're able to build programs and offer services that traditionally municipalities wouldn't. So it's a really nice blend of services that we're able to provide Portsmouth.
Okay. Now, if someone is interested in either donating money, or do you still collect food and things for the animals?
We sure do.
Okay.
So
food, or if they just want to get involved or find out ways that they can get involved, is there a number they can call, a website they can go to?
yes, so our phone number is 757-397-6004, and our website is portsmouthhumanesociety.org. We have lots of opportunities to get involved. Obviously, donors are very important for helping make things like the surgeries we talked about happen. Little things like buying formula for guys like this, and just above and beyond stuff. Our building is aging. We're going to have to be doing some pretty significant considerations about what our infrastructure looks like in terms of our facility, and we have a monthly giving program, so a person can sign up to donate monthly and it automatically comes out of their account. Or we have Amazon wish lists, so there's things that we purchase every week. We spend a lot of money on trash bags.
Yeah.
Lots of money on trash bags. Paper towels, toilet paper, those are types of things that we're always out shopping. If we see them, we can throw them in our cart and drop them off at the shelter. And there's things that we use at the shelter that you might have lying around that you don't need to purchase, like linens, towels you're not using anymore, blankets. We always need those, or we wash them, but the animals like to tear them up sometimes. Right. So, there are some pet-related items that people just have lying around that we could make good use of for sure.
Well, thanks for being here, Diana. Really, thanks for coming in. Thanks for telling us how people can get involved. And we'll have you back in a few months when you have some more activities coming up. Rob.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you here.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rob. Kittens. You guys are so good.
The last week of January is Portsmouth Restaurant Week 2026. Our next guest, James McCann, will tell us about some of the great restaurants you'll find here in Old Town Portsmouth and across the city. James, welcome to Portsmouth Now.
Thank you, Rob.
Now, 2026 Portsmouth Restaurant Week begins or takes place the last week of January, right?
That is correct. It is taking place January 23rd through the 31st, and it's a week-long culinary experience for folks that want to, indulge in it.
Okay, so what sets it apart? I mean, there are restaurants that participate in this?
Correct, yeah, we generally have about 20 to 30 restaurants that participate in it, and it's anything from American fare to Italian and international cuisine, Southern comfort food. I mean, it's all across the board.
Yeah, because it's throughout the city, right?
Correct, yes it is.
Okay, but we also have a ton of great restaurants here in Old Town.
Oh, absolutely. We have dozens of them.
Okay, so I mean, are any of the restaurants, this would also include things like breweries and things like that?
It does, actually. One of the new things coming up this year in our restaurant week is Post-Secondary Brewing is partnering with Chef Groove, and they're going to be doing a nice beer and food pairing as part of this. So
okay, great.
I think that's going to be great.
Now, where is that located?
So that's just several blocks up here on High Street. It's right before Effingham, and it's right next to Bloom.
Okay. Now, people who have not been to Old Town, or maybe they come here the first time, they're sort of taken back a lot of time with the variety of restaurants that we have here. Now, you work here in the center a lot, in the visitor center. When people come in and they ask, "Hey, do you have any place decent to eat around here?"
Absolutely.
What do you tell them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's over 34 different restaurants within several blocks of us. So within this giant 2 square mile area that's very walkable, you'll come across all kinds of food.
Okay. So can you give us some examples of?
Oh yeah, so like we have Thai Basil, we have Beyond Vegan, we also have Still, which is kind of like a unique speakeasy type restaurant.
Yeah, and you don't even, unless you walk by it, you might not know, because it is very much like a speakeasy, but it's on Court Street behind the old courthouse where the Portsmouth Art and Cultural Center is. Huge building, I'm assuming from the 1800s. It looks like it's vacant upstairs, but the cellar is this really cool speakeasy vibe restaurant.
Does.
It has great food.
It absolutely does. I mean, it's great for evenings, get together, just a nice ambiance, nothing too crazy, too loud. It sets it apart for some of their special events that they have.
Yeah, and if you get there and you decide it's not your cup of tea, or you come in, how many Mexican restaurants are there?
There's at least 3 or 4 at a minimum here.
And they're all good.
Absolutely, they're all fantastic. And they all capture a slightly different part of the Mexican cuisine.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a nice little variety that we have here as well.
Yeah, and there's also just some great, of course there's Rogers Brown's, which is a great sports bar, but great food.
Absolutely.
And just a number of places here. People would be surprised.
Absolutely. I mean, people come in here and they see the Beer Garden or Thai Basil.
The Beer Garden, one of the only German restaurant in this part of the state.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, they are definitely authentic. Having spent time there, I can attest to that.
Yeah, they are great. They're good. But okay, so if people wanted to find out more about restaurants in Old Town or Portsmouth, or Restaurant Week in general, is there a website to go to?
Absolutely. So if they're particularly interested in the Restaurant Week, they can go to dineinportsmouth.com, and that'll tell them the latest, all the participating restaurants. You can also go to visitportsva.com and go to our dining page, and then it'll list all of those different restaurants throughout the whole entire city. Another option for them is to come into our visitor center, and they can pick up a restaurant and retail guide, and they'll be able to guide themselves here in Old Town. Just as a few blocks.
And then the Welcome Center, where we film every month, that's located at, what is the exact address, 301?
So it's actually 206 High Street. It's right at the corner of High and Court, or High and Middle Street, and it's just across from the Children's Museum in Virginia.
Right. Well, thanks for coming here and telling us about Restaurant Week. And really, if you're looking for some great places to eat, check out Restaurant Week here in Portsmouth. That's the last week of January. And of course, any time of the year, come to Old Town, where there is just a huge variety, over 30 restaurants within walking distance that serve every cuisine, every type of food you could ask for. That's it for our show today. If you'd like to find out more about any of the events featured on today's show, or any other events taking place in Portsmouth, simply log on to www.portsvacation.com and then come to Portsmouth, where if you give us a day, we'll give you a vacation. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next month for the February episode of Portsmouth Now.